Hey everybody, Bill here. I want to show you how to set up your Steam Deck in order to play games that are made with, I like to call them piano games, games that have tons and tons of keyboard shortcuts, and they are absolutely 100% not designed with a controller in mind. And you might think that you can't possibly play a game like that on the Steam Deck, but I'm here to tell you, you absolutely can, and I'm going to show you how to do it from absolute start to finish. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to set it up so that I can control where I move with my character with the left stick and control the camera with the right stick. And you can see right now it's set up so that the right stick does not control the camera. So I'm going to go in here to my Steam settings, and I'm having trouble seeing because my camera's in the way. So if I hit the wrong button, or if I hit the wrong thing, that's why. And I'm going to go into Edit Layout. Once I'm in Edit Layout, I'm going to set up my right. Well, actually, first I'm going to go into my left joystick, and my left joystick, I have it set up in my keybinds, and you can set it up however you want. That my Q button is my left strafe and my E button is my right strafe. And so now, if I get out of there, now that controls the way that I would expect. The next thing that I'm going to do is set up my right stick. So I go back into Steam, Controller Settings, Edit Layout, Joysticks, right joystick. It says joystick mouse, and that's fine. But what I want to do is I want to set a touch command to my mouse as a right click, and that's because when you play this game you hold down the right mouse button when you move you click with the right mouse button, you hold that down, and then as you move your mouse around it controls the camera that way. So now I back out, and you can see that now I'm looking around, but man is it really loose. So what I need to do is I don't like to adjust the in-game sensitivity. I prefer to do all of that through Steam. And we're going to go back into that layout, joysticks, and I'm going to go down to the joystick mouse, and I'm going to lower the mouse sensitivity way down. Okay, and let me just look through the options here and see if there's anything else that I did. No, I think that's pretty much it. And that looks pretty good. And now when I play this game, I tend not to look up and down nearly as much as left and right, so I'm going to actually make it a little less sensitive up and down. And so I'll go into my joysticks and my joystick mouse. I'm going to lower, actually I'm going to lower the horizontal scale a bit, and I'm going to lower the vertical scale quite a bit. And this should make it just a little bit more manageable. This is much better. Now, do I need to snap my mouse around really fast? No. Can I make it faster? I could. What I could do, if I wanted to, is going back into Edit Layout, under my joysticks, I could do an outer ring command and set that in order to make it actually faster, but I'm not going to. I think that it's probably okay. I'll just increase the sensitivity just a little bit. And that feels pretty good. So now I can move around the way that I want. This feels really good. Okay. The next thing that I want to set up is targeting. First off, I got to find something to target. I think, yeah, over here I have got some targeting dummies. Okay. And these two targeting dummies, I want to be able to decide which one I'm going to use. Now, this is a tab targeting MMO. So I'm going to go into here, controller settings, edit layout. I'm going to go into my D-pad, and I'm going to say that my right on the D-pad is going to be tab, and left on the D-pad is also going to be tab. However, I'm going to do what's called a subcommand. A subcommand is basically saying when I push this button, push this other button at the same time. I'm going to set it to shift. So now, if I'm tabbing through them this way, it's going to go to the right. If I go that way, it goes to the left. Now, I only have two targets to go through right here, so it's not really going to show that off, but that's the way it works. All right, so the next thing that I want to do is I need to look at, actually, just to make it easier for myself, I'm going to set up the buttons the R4, that's the top grip button on the back. I'm going to set that as my left click. And if I need to do a right click, that's going to be that's R4. So then L4 is going to be my right click. So basically now, let me flip my Steam Deck over. Over here, this is the left click. No, that's going to be the right click. That's going to be the left click. Okay. So now if I go over here and I click, point at that, I just use my middle finger on the trackpad to click it. That way I can select things manually and I can like go into my inventory and edit things that way. So now that I've got my mouse button set up, that's going to make it easier for me to go into my preferences in case I forgot like what a keybind is. I can look it up in here or I can set it. I'm not going to do that right now. What I am going to do right now is I'm going to start setting up these buttons down here on the bottom. Now you'll notice that I have them in groups. I have a group of 6, a group of 6, and then another potential group of 6, although I'm only level 50, so I don't have 2 extra buttons that I would use in combat on the regular basis to put right there. Well, let me show you how I get this set up. I want to set it up. I have these 3 buttons on the top, 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to set that up so this is 1, 2, and 3. And you might wonder, well, how do you do the other ones? We'll get to that. So here's what I'm going to do. I go into control settings. I edit my layout. I'm going to come down here to action sets and I'm going to add a layer. I'm going to call this layer left. Confirm. And now that I've got that, I'm going to go back into my default. I'm going to come down to triggers and I'm going to set my left trigger full pull. Actually, we're going to remove that command. Remove command. My left trigger full pull is going to be an action set, and it's going to be set up as a hold action layer. Confirm. What that means is that whenever I hold the left trigger down, whenever I pull that trigger and hold it down the whole time, it's going to switch over to a new set of abilities that inherits all of the stuff from the previous set of abilities, but overlays new stuff on top of that. And I'm going to set it up so that my X button, X, is 1. My Y button is 2. And my B button is 3. And so now, I'm going to target that guy. I'm going to pull that trigger, and I push 1. And now I'm shooting at him. This is a target dummy, so he's not going to attack back. Okay. He evaded it. Okay. There we go. All right. So now I'm shooting him because I have those abilities. I don't think that I'm close enough to use my other abilities. Yeah, okay. Get close enough, and I can use that ability. And I have to wait for my third ability to proc, I think. It's been a long time since I played this game. Years, actually. Alright, well that ability is not usable right now, so I can't actually like push B to show you it working, but it would work if I could use it. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up to use these buttons. Now you'll notice this is Shift 1, Shift 2, and Shift 3. If I zoom in on this, you might be able to see it. Okay, so there's Shift 1, Shift 2, and Shift 3. How do I set that up? It's actually really, really easy. I'm going to go back into my layout. I'm going to switch over to my left button. I'm going to go to my X button, X. I'm going to do an extra command. I'm going to say 1. And you might be saying, well, isn't it already 1? Yes, it is. However, I'm going to set that extra command, instead of being a double press, instead of being a regular press, let me go back. Instead of being a regular press, it is a double press. Okay? And then I'm going to set up a subcommand that is Shift. So the way that it works now is when I'm here, if I pull the trigger and push X, it uses the green ability right there. And if I pull the trigger and hit XX, it's evaded. There we go. I do an uppercut. So now I'm going to back off so that I'm not shooting like crazy, and I'll set up the other ones. Y is 2, so I'm going to add extra command. That is 2. Make that a double press. Add a subcommand. Shift. Okay. I get back up there. 2 is this ability. And Shift 2 is that ability. Very similar, but different a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to back off. We'll do the same thing for the other one. So now I have these 6 abilities mapped to these 3 buttons. I come up here, I can use them. And that's how you can set up those abilities. So now you're going to look over here, and I'm going to set up the right-hand side because it's easier for me to think of it in this way. And I'm going to set this up so that my right trigger is going to activate these abilities. So I go into Steam, Controller Settings, Edit Layout. I'm going to come down to Action Sets, and I'm going to add a new layer. That layer is going to be called Right. And we're going to go back to my default. I'm going to go to my triggers. I'm going to get rid of this ability, remove the command, and R2 full pull is going to be an action set. Hold action layer, set it to be right, and now we've got that set up. I'm going to go into right. I'm going to go into my buttons. Notice that my D-pad is going to inherit all of the stuff that my D-pad already does. So all of that stuff that it does when I'm not holding down this trigger is still going to be there. The only thing that changes is this stuff. So X is 1, Y is 2, B is 3, and now I'm going to duplicate all of those abilities. So we're going to go extra command 3, extra command 1, extra command 2, and I'm kind of far away because the camera's in my way, so it's hard to see. Set up this one as a double press, give it a subcommand, Shift, do the same thing on this one. It's a double press and a subcommand, Shift, and this one. I just made a mistake. This one right there. Double press, subcommand, Shift. Back out. Alright, so now I can use these buttons over here when I pull this trigger. Oh, no. Okay, I made a mistake. Let me fix that. I made a huge mistake. Notice that's 789, 789, not 1, 2, and 3. So I need to fix that. And this is the kind of thing that you're going to run into, is that you'll make goofy mistakes as you go. Let me fix that. So 7, 8. I don't know what that does, but I just did it. All right, you can see that my 7 ability is on cooldown now. My 8 ability and my 9 ability. And if I want to use whatever this thing is down here, double tap. It says effect condition failed. Probably because I can't use it on a target dummy. Oh, I happen to fail. Okay. Okay. So left trigger to get those, right trigger to get these. How do I get the middle? I use both triggers at the same time. How do we do that? It's actually super, super easy. I'm going to go back into Edit Layout. I'm going to go to Action Sets. I'm going to make a new action set. Add layer, both. All right. And we go back into joysticks, or not joysticks, triggers. Now this is going to be a little weird at first, but I think you'll understand. So right now I've got it set up so that if I pull the right trigger, it's going to turn on those right-handed abilities. If I pull the left trigger, it's going to do the left-handed abilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to come down here to add extra command. And so now I have another full pull ability, and I'm going to change this from a regular press to a button chord. All right, and I need to do the settings, and the chord button is going to be the other trigger. So now it's going to be my left trigger full pull. Okay, and now I'm going to give it a command, action sets, hold action set, both. Confirm. So what happens is if I pull the right trigger and the left trigger at the same time, it's going to activate this set. So we'll go into those, and that's going to be 4, 5, and 6. So X is 4, Y is 5, and B is 6. Okay? Let's test it. So I want this button right here to go off. And you can see that it's on cooldown, so it worked. Which ability is going off right now? Oh, it's resisting. Now, I'm not... Well, let me try this one more time. Oh, wait. Now we'll know for sure. Ah, okay, so there we go. It was working. I was just hitting the wrong button. All right. So now if I hit both buttons, I have to be closer. And then there's the first one. And so what I'm going to do now is in that new setup, I have to set up my shift buttons to get the bottom set. So we're going to go over here to both. I got 4, 5, 6. Duplicate that with an extra command. Duplicate this with an extra command. Duplicate this with an extra command. And that's, that's 6, 4. I just hit the wrong button because the camera's in my way. I can't see what I'm doing. 5. And now this has to be a double press. This has to be, where's the double press? Regular press, double press. And the bottom one has to be regular press, double press. And now I'm going to add a sub command, shift. Go to the next one, sub command, shift. And go to the last one, sub command, shift. And so now, if I come up here, I can hold both, use the 4 ability, or if I want to use the shift 4 ability, double tap X, and that attacks. And so now you can see that that's on cooldown. And so now I have access to 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 abilities using just these 3 buttons and a different combination of triggers. And if you want to get crazy, you got buttons on the back if you want to use. You also have bumpers. I personally like to set up the bumpers to control my scroll wheel. So I'm going to go into my buttons. Left trigger is scroll wheel down, right trigger is scroll wheel up. Now what you're going to see is it doesn't quite do anything. So how do I get that set up? Well, buttons, bumpers, scroll wheel down. It's a regular press, but I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to turn on turbo. And I turn on turbo over here. Settings, turbo. Why can I not zoom? Ah, okay. It's because the ceiling was in my way. So now I can zoom in and out as much as I want. So you might be asking, how do I get to these? This is something I never even considered when I started this. Well, you can just touch them. So if I want to mount up on my speeder, I just tap that button, and now I'm on my speeder. If I need to do a quick heal, I have this potion right here. I just tap that potion. And it heals me. And it works really, really well. It's something that I never considered. Just having these just easily within thumb's reach, I can use them. And actually, if you want, you can set these to, in this particular game, you can set these to be a bigger size if you want to have them bigger touch spaces. Really, really great. The one thing I will say is you want to make sure that you lock the quick slot bar so that you don't accidentally drag stuff off of your bar. So now you have your combat abilities set up, and you can set up either this touchpad or this touchpad to do other stuff. I like to leave this one as the mouse just in case I need it for something. You can also set up these buttons when you're not pulling a trigger to do other stuff. Like right now, this one is jump. If I want, I can set the Y button to be my map. So if I go to my controller settings, edit layout, buttons, Y, M, that's going to bring up my map now. So that brings up my map. And then I can close that with the map. And, you know, if you have a bunch of things that you do all the time, you could set those up to be like a radial menu over here. So maybe I want to set up my trackpad. Left trackpad, we're going to set that left trackpad to be a radial menu. And radial menu 1, we're going to say that's that, and inventory, and my skills, I can't remember, and my friends list, and maybe the G button, I can't remember. And so now when I come out, that opens up that brings up my inventory, that brings up the K button, that brings up the social menu, that brings up the nothing because I guess I don't have that bound to anything. You have tons that you can do. Real quick thing that I want to mention about the radial menu is on the old Steam controller, you could set it up so that your radial menu would have like little icons, or it would say instead of I, you could put like bags. And you can't do that yet on SteamOS 3.0. I did reach out to my contacts at Valve and I said, is that something that's going to be coming? And they said, yes, it is. We're working on that. So just something to know. So that's my basically universal control layout for playing a tab-targeted MMO, what I like to call piano games, because there's so many different buttons. And you can play it on the Steam Deck. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, make sure that you click on that button down below and let me know what your favorite layouts are. And I'm going to export this layout as a base layout. So I'm going to share this with the community. And let's go ahead and change the name of it. If you didn't know, if you make a layout and you think it's really, really good, you can just name it. So I'm going to say Bill's Steam Deck. The camera is in my way. Steam Deck layout. I'm going to put in progress. In progress. And that stupid parenthesis didn't work. There we go. And I'm going to hit confirm. All right. So now I just exported that, and I'm going to see if I can like share that so that I can put it in. There may be a link in the description down below if you want to try it out for yourself. Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, and thanks for watching The Nerd Nest. Bye, everybody.